Good morning, everyone. This is Kosala, also known as Marventus, bringing you a ZvZ from one of my own games for this week's Marv's Point of View. Once again, I'm going with the Spanish UR opening, but this time I actually do it right. I do make a slight change when I'm playing in ZvZ. I go for a 12 pool instead of a 14 pool, so let's get right on to introducing the players. Here in the bottom left-hand corner is, of course, myself, the Red Zerg, Marventus. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have Mr. War of Cool. War of Cool playing as the Blue Zerg. The opening looking fairly standard, both players doing exactly the same thing. I am droning away, and I've got to my 9th drone now, so I should be scouting any second now. We have an Overlord heading there to the front of the base as well. Not surprisingly, Mr. War of Cool doing exactly the same thing. Now, if you saw my last video, you saw that I've recently been adopting the opening that Spanish UR has been utilizing so very successfully in higher level play, which is the not getting gas until you're at 36 to 40 supply, and just focusing on your early economy. And this has actually been working out extremely well for me. The first game I played was really executed rather badly, but I won anyway. In this second game, I've got, in this ZvZ, this actually went extremely well. And I decided to opt for a similar style here, the only exception here being that I'm getting a pool here nice and early at 12 supply as opposed to 14 supply, which is what I would normally do. So 12 supply and then a pool followed by a 12 supply hatchery and then the rest as normal. Now here we have War of Cool's drone coming in. He's going to be spying my base any second now. His Overlord heading off into the boonies over here. So far, have I scouted his base? Let me just take a look. I can't even remember if I've actually scouted the base. I've not yet scouted the base. So my scout will be going out eventually. Or did I even scout the base? I mean, the initial parts really can't change regardless of what I see when I scout. So I may have been a bit lazy on the scouting here. We have War of Cool's drone hanging out here doing absolutely nothing. Now let's see where we are. I am at 16 supply. The hatchery should be going down any second now. I seem to have been a bit late with that now. Why is that? That is because my economy is a tad behind. And now I have a War of Cool's drone poking at my drone. Who's taking off? He's being a little vicious. It's an angry drone. And here come my lings to deal with that drone. So that'll be the end of that. And that must be why I was delaying my hatchery there a little bit. I was getting a few early lings to deal with some potential issues. And here they come as we speak. We have an early batch of drones, Zerglings heading our way. 6 Zerglings coming into the base. What do? I come out with my 4 Zerglings to take a look at what's going on, meet his Zerglings and say, oh shit, and come right back. So far I actually did not get an early hatch. I'm seeing right now. I must have confused myself there. Generally I would have actually gotten an early hatch, but I didn't. I got early lings instead. Popping out a spine crawler here in my mineral line. Now that I have spotted his lings, I've actually decided not to get a hatch. My mistake. Wasn't the Spanish UR opening at all. I just went and confused myself. Right, here we have it. What do we got here? We've got 2 lines of drones coming in, and we've got our queen birthing larva away. I've got a spine crawler coming up. He has a spine crawler coming up as well, because he's obviously seen my lings, and he's got some additional lings coming in for backup. So now he's looking at 10 lings versus my 6 lings. No, 4 lings. And then I've got a queen heading to the front there just to keep things occupied in case we get hit by all kinds of nonsense. And here we have more drones. Oh no, I have not actually birthed more drones. What am I doing with my economy? Let's see. Oh yeah, I've collected my economy. Was I planning on getting a hatchery? It could very well have been so. I'm popping down a spine crawler there up front as well. Moved my other one into the front as well. And now we've got a little bit of defense going in case these guys decide to go pummeling. He hasn't got the speedling upgrade yet, so it's still just Zerglings. I haven't built more Zerglings. I'm keeping it pretty tight here. Pulling my lings back, and now we have the spine crawlers ready to do the necessary work. That mops up this attack. And that was the end of that. Threat over. In the meantime, we've got a couple of gases have gone up for a War of Cool, but he's only he's mining out of both. He's got yet another spine crawler happening there, but I did not decide to counterattack. Instead, I used this moment to build my second base. So now I'm getting my second base down, economy slightly ahead of my opponents there, as you can see. Still no gas, working on my mineral economy, no real reason to get gas for the time being because I haven't figured out how I'm going to play this game yet. It is entirely possible that I think here I actually waited to see what he was going to do before I decided anything and just worked on my economy. Let's see if that's actually the case. I think that sounds like a fairly reasonable proposition. I haven't gotten any more links than I had before, still on my 6 links. Just as I said that, here come my backup links. Now I've got about 2 rows worth of lings, 2.5 rows worth of lings, and that should be all the defense I need for any forays that our friend might be doing. I send my overlord in to take a little peek and realize that he's actually not doing a whole lot of anything. He's just building his initial units and initial buildings, so I didn't feel very threatened at all. Was quite happy and secure with my second base over there. Now, did I catch his roach warren? Let's just take a look at that. Marventus. The Marventus view did not catch the roach warren. That is my my overlord did not make it in far enough. Now, there's a couple of interesting things that happen in this game. One of them is the fact that, you know, we have this general tendency to believe that whenever you're playing ZvZ, it's very much, I mean, if he builds roaches, you build more roaches. I'm not a big fan of this strategy, actually. I'm pummeling out a few queens, as you can see here. But generally, I tend to find that a much better counter to roaches is upgraded lings. So he actually decides to go down the roach path here, and he's heading my way with a few roaches. But I've actually got some fairly decent defense put up now. I've got my spine crawlers, I've got enough lings to deal with this. This is not a massive problem. But up until this very moment, I actually didn't realize that he had gone roaches because my overlord didn't catch sight of the the roach warren. So he's heading up to get the Zelnaga towers. Now normally I would have gotten the Zelnaga towers myself, and I have been very sloppy in this game. I see now I've just avoided getting them. Droning going heavily here, as we can see. My gas is now going up as well, all 4 gases at the same time, as I usually will do round about the 30 to 40 fight supply mark. He's got a few roaches camped out there, but not doing anything. Even more roaches and lings are being produced, and he's upgrading to lair. In the meantime, I am currently not going lair tech, focusing on my gas generation now, and my lings are going to take a little poke around and immediately see the roach. Now this is the first time I actually see the roach situation. So I actually thought about this a little bit and thought, am I going to respond to this by having a pummeling out massive roaches? But he's already well ahead on the roach side. I just wound up getting another spine crawler for defense, and or 2 more spine crawlers for defense, and then I am focusing on my lings rather than my roaches. He's also getting centrifugal hooks. He's got himself some banelings, as indeed he should. Most ZvZ games do tend to contain some entertaining baneling work. I should be pummeling out more drones anytime soon, and here we are, a huge batch of drones on the way here to mine at the secondary location, which is now focusing on gas for the time being. As you can see, my mineral count is well ahead, no problems whatsoever. Now, and I decided to not go with the roach opening, focusing on getting my upgrading buildings to upgrade my lings and teching up to lair at the same time. In the meantime, our buddy War of Cool has gone heavy on the banelings. He's got a few roaches out. He's got his little initial posse of roaches hanging out over there, and now he's getting the burrow upgrade as well. So he is looking for some borrowed roach tech to come in and deal with this situation. Now once again, I did not notice that he had burrow until just a little bit later when I decided to go down hunting for his little roaches, and they decided to burrow into the ground. I immediately understood that he had the burrow tech. And I actually am a big fan of burrow as well. Do get that early when you play any kind of Zerg game. It's just a fantastically useful skill. His centrifugal hooks is now starting to finish up, so his banelings are going to be speedy. His Zerg, or his creep spread about as bad as mine right now, actually. And I've parked an overlord there in the front as well to get some better vision. Now, as you can see, I'm well ahead on my supply. I generally am. This is following on from practicing the Spanishua opening, which does require you to be a little oversupply at all times, so you can rapidly put out any units that you need to put out to counter. Keeping up on my lava there, instantaneous lava wide burst as soon as that one was done. That was quite nice. And now my upgrades are coming through. Notice I'm working on my ground upgrades first, while also popping out a spire to ensure that I've got the anti-air capacity when needed. Now he's getting his tunneling claws, taking his damn time actually. I don't know why he didn't just build a bunch of roaches and come and poke around here a little bit, because as you can see I really haven't, because he didn't do that, I just focused completely on building my economy. And now that my economy is totally sound, here come 20 Zerglings and an infestation pit just for the hell of it. Getting my metabolic boost as well. Look at this wonderful spread of units, buildings and upgrades all happening at the same time. This is the wonderful benefit of having a massive economic lead. I've got 1,400 economy here versus his 35. I don't know why the hell it's so busy producing stuff. He doesn't even look like he's producing that much, but nonetheless his economy is very low. So there we have it. His roaches have borrowed by the tower. And I should be heading out with my lings any moment now to take that tower. And that is actually the first time I saw the fact that he had borrow tech. So let's take a look at what he's up to here. He's got a few spine crawlers at the front of the base, keeping track of, or keeping defense of that narrow ramp up. He's got his roaches, he's got his banelings, but he's not doing anything with them. And for some odd reason, he's still on one base. A one-basing Zerg, and right now my economy is miles ahead. As you can see, my lings currently not even upgraded are moving in, and there it is. I just caught sight of those roaches as they burrowed, and just realized that I need to have some sort of anti-stealth tech, so I'm pulling out my Overseer right there and then. And he's doing a little popping in, popping out scenario versus my lings, but now the metabolic boost is up. The upgrades have landed as well, and those lings are now 1-1 upgraded and pretty damn vicious. I'm getting my upgrades for my infestation pit and my spire as well, so I can get some units out, and I plop down an additional hatchery for more lava birthing, because right now my economy is so sound I simply don't need any other. I simply don't need another hatchery for the purposes of gas or anything, but I am getting another hatchery for the purposes of lava. And now I've got a nice little bunch of Zerglings in the field with good map control. So at this stage, there's literally nothing our buddy over here can do that I'm not going to see before he does it. He's trapped in his one base. He's got his roaches and he's got his banelings, but that's pretty much it. And he's got no way to expand without me noticing it. He is in trouble. Mr. War of Cool is in trouble. Now, this would have gone differently for me if he had been better at harassing, and there's a good lesson in this for everyone. When you are playing against Zerg, harass often, because you really need to be able to put pressure on your opponent. If you leave a Zerg to do a thing he does what I'm doing right now. I'm busily economizing, expanding, and getting map control. Bad, bad, bad idea. In goes my Overseer, pops down a speedling there to take a look at what's going on, doesn't get noticed by the roaches, and he goes running straight into the base to hang out and spies everything. Now we've got a little handsome group of roaches over here who are taking a few pot shots at my lings, so I back out a little bit. But there simply aren't enough roaches there to be that much of a problem. I've got another 30, 40 lings being popped out instantaneously as I saw this roach. You see, I completely ignored the roach versus roach model. I didn't even put down a roach warren. I just went with a spire, and I went with upgraded lings, and here I'm getting my 2-2 upgrades on lings, and let's face it, 2-2 upgraded lings are freaking vicious. So I have another 40 lings now streaming in to take this ground, and my Overseer keeping an eye on things, so that was kind of useless of War of Cool there. He's trying to repair in time, but my lings are going to get there and make short work of those roaches. There they are, they're toast. In the meantime, my little blue speedling has come on in here, and he's seen everything. So he can see exactly what the base is about. I know exactly what's going on here, and I also realized at this point that Mr. War of Cool is completely screwed. He does not have the units he needs to counter my situation, so I have all the time in the world to deal with this. I've got 9 Mutalisks coming up, I've got upgrades across the board everywhere. This is looking quite nasty for War of Cool. We've got a Hydralisk Den coming up for War of Cool, who is trying to prepare against what I don't know. I have no idea why he's putting out a Hydralisk Den. Yeah, all I have here is Lings, which would be devastating against Hydralisks, but there you have it, he's getting one anyway. And here come my Mutas, coming in now from the bottom left flank. This is going to be devastating for War of Cool, but to his credit, he does not panic. He instantly sees the problem, grabs those banelings, and he goes running straight for my base. And in the meantime, I'm getting an expansion over here, and probably one up there as well, but nonetheless, his banelings are on the move. I use my banelings to counter it a little bit, take out a few pot shots on the banelings while they're on the way to the base. But this is a smart move here from Mr. War of Cool. He didn't panic, he just grabbed his banelings and he went straight for it. It's a pity that I had huge amount of lings in the way. Of course, those banelings are going to wind up doing absolutely nothing. Here they come, they're getting completely annihilated by queens and spine crawlers, and that's the end of that. My queen even survived that. And there you have it. And now with another expansion on the way, more gas on the way, and more mutas on the way, our man, Mr. War of Cool, is completely in the shit. Those spine crawlers are going to be of no use to him whatsoever. The Mutalisks are going to make short work of those, and they've been upgraded now as well. So now there are 2-0 upgraded Mutalisks, and Mr. War of Cool GG's the hell out of there. He knows it's over. And there we have it. So what have we learned from this particular game? When you're playing against Zerg, do not avoid harassing. Harass all the time. The more harassing you do, the better it becomes. If you leave a Zerg alone, he does what I do, and then it's impossible to catch up after that. And for the love of God, I can't understand what on earth War of Cool was doing on one base, because I wasn't harassing him either. But he could easily have expanded into the second base, but no, he didn't do that and got himself completely verschnickered, and there we have it. Alright, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, folks, ta-ta.